Welcome back to Willow Rock Sports Desk, the way too late in the hockey season variety. Kevin!
Yeah, that's me.
Hey.
Hi.
How you doing?
I was doing better last week. But, it is what it is, and you got to press on, press forward.
I'm feeling a little better.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah? Got my gin and tonic.
Yeah. I love gin and tonics.
Yeah.
Got some straight whiskey here to help me get through this pain.
I was going to say, it's your favorite drink.
Yeah.
Single malt whiskey in a cup.
This is my signature
optional.
cocktail, if
Yeah.
you will, at Willow Rock.
Yep. All right.
Back to beer.
So let's talk about the conference finals. Western Conference Finals. You had the Colorado Avalanche taking it all. Tell me more.
Oh, well, that was a great series. Very entertaining. It was short, too short. I
Quick.
feel like it robbed a lot of people of an amazing series between McDavid and McKinnon. But Makar was just too good, and he stole the show. Colorado looks unbeatable right now.
Yeah,
Top to bottom. They're short one defenseman still, and the next guy up was just ready to go. Their backup goalie took care of that series for them. They didn't even really need Kemper in any stretch of the imagination. Mike Smith, obviously. Mike Smithed a lot of things to kind of keep Colorado into a lot of games that Edmonton should have won maybe.
Yeah.
But it was very entertaining. That was entertaining hockey, and as a hockey fan, that's something you want to watch.
Yeah, and this is a team in Colorado that has maybe had the most adversity thrown against them in this playoff run, and it just doesn't matter. Injuries, we don't care. Goalies, defensemen, captains, who cares?
And this is something
Next
in the
guy up.
last 3 years that they've dealt with. Injuries, goalies getting hurt, people not necessarily disappearing, but getting suspended, getting injured.
Hopefully not just disappearing. Where do you go?
They didn't
I don't
vanish
know.
off the face of the earth. This isn't like Ozzie Smith in The Simpsons. But it is very important that this team has seen this before and they've gone through it. And that's how deep this team is now. And they're just pushing forward. They're like, all right, we lost somebody. Fine. Next guy up. Let's go.
All right, so why didn't we do this earlier in the year? This is some insightful hockey talk. I'm standing here just drinking.
Question it. We did that one thing on an ice rink, but maybe we didn't think we had the audience
That just
for
chilled us down for a while.
You hurt your leg.
I did. You had a baby.
I had a baby.
But we're back, strong.
We
Look,
got it here.
I'm standing. You baby is presumably taken care of somewhere.
The baby is somewhere being watched.
Yeah, it's
by
not.
an
It didn't
adult.
disappear like Ozzie Smith.
By a responsible human being is
great.
watching our child. It's not just left unattended.
The first time we haven't made a joke on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, I guess let's get to the other side of it then. We had Tampa and the
we have to?
Rangers in the Eastern Conference Final.
Yep.
We should at least say something.
Listen, this will be the most impressive run by the Tampa Bay Lightning of the 3 years. If they manage a three-peat, and I would go out on a limb and say this already is. Beating Toronto in the first round. They swept Florida, who was the President's Trophy winner.
Yeah.
And now they beat the Rangers, who's a young upstart team who did kind of run out of gas in the long run on this one, but they had a lot of weapons to throw at Tampa. And they took it all in stride. Not only that, but Cooper changed the style. Cooper did a lot of stuff behind that bench to get them to win those games versus be on the fridge. They did what they had to do to knock them out. And listen, kudos to them for doing that. I think Colorado will be the toughest test they've seen in any round in 3 years. So, if this is the one that they can pull off, this will be the most impressive one.
Yeah.
To me, anyway.
And for the Rangers, you can't be upset when you got a young team that goes deep like that. They won more games than they should have. But yeah, they ran out of gas.
As a fan of the Rangers, I'm sitting at home trying to justify being up 2-0 and not win another game in a series.
Does sting.
And that's the only bad part of how that series went down. As a Rangers fan, and even the Rangers, you were up 2-0. You were then up 2-0 in Game 3, and you let them back into it, you let them win, and you let them off the mat. And that's the part that stings. If you manage to maybe split in New York and split in Tampa and then lose the next 2 games, I think you feel better as a fan, or even force a Game 6. But because you lost 4 straight, it gives you a sour taste in your mouth. But this team.
It's like getting swept late.
Yeah, you got swept, but I still think that, this team won 4 more games than I expected them to. I kind of thought they'd be out in the Carolina series in 6, but not only did they win that series in 7 and showed overcame a lot of adversity there and against the Penguins, but still took off 2 games against the Chabs and beat them 2 times in a row for the first time in this whole run from Tampa.
Wow, yeah. That's a good little fact.
Yep.
So let's do one of our favorite things. Let's cut to Robbie. Robbie, what do you think about the Rangers running out of gas?
No wonder the Rangers ran out of gas. It's almost $6 a gallon here in New York. That's why I got this sweet new electric vehicle.
I guess they should have invested in an electric car versus that gasoline.
Electric team buses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks fancy.
Well, you know.
Upgrading.
Willow Rock cocktails.
Damn. Whew. All right, where are we going now?
So we are going to preview the Stanley Cup final.
Woo.
So we got Colorado versus Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Is Tampa going to go for that three-peat?
As much as I'd love to sit here and be like, look at this history. We saw a three-peat. I just don't see it, even though that might be the only Stanley Cup champion my daughter has seen so far in her life so far. I don't think that they can pull this one off. I think Colorado's got too much speed. They got too much speed. They have adequate goaltending, and their defense is there that's going to turn the puck over real quick and get it back up to the fort. Not turn the puck over is in a bad sense, but turn the puck over to go forward real quick. And I don't know that Tampa's got the horses to do this and to stay up to it. What needs to happen for Tampa to win is they need Vasilevsky to be at the top of his game. Colorado is going to play the same style of game. They've proven throughout the playoffs that they can win in a multitude of ways. You want to play a slow game, they can play it. You want to play a fast game, they can play it. Run and gun, it doesn't matter. They can do that. They're going to need Vasilevsky to step up more than anything else. And the defense of Tampa, outside of the big 3 from them, is kind of a pullback. You're looking at a bunch of 5 and 6s in terms of like your roster depth chart in a lot of places. And like Cooper's going to have to outcoach Bednar in this one. And that's really what's going to have to happen. And maybe it can happen. Can't count Tampa out until they're lost. They're the champs until they lose. Ultimately, Colorado has as many superstars on their side who are better rested than Tampa.
Does Tampa Bay require COVID to win a championship?
I don't know how to answer that.
Okay. There's no correlation.
I don't think there's a
I
correlation.
mean, they won in 20.
Technically, COVID's
They
not,
won in 21.
Still kind
It's
of
still here. They're still almost there. But
Well.
they're not quite as good as they were last year when it was raging.
You think COVID's kind of weakening? So
Maybe they've
Tampa Bay
learned a
is?
way to
This
harness
is an
the
odd
power of the
correlation
COVID.
for a sports test to do. But maybe you could be right there. As the host, we can't rule it out. Let's get the scientists on this.
Good. We'll call them. So before we get to advantages that each team is going to hold in this series for Lord Stanley's Cup,
Yes.
I want to cut it to Robbie and see what he thinks about Tampa versus Colorado. Robbie?
Colorado versus Tampa. One city versus a whole state. I think my money's going to be in Colorado for that one. Tampa's not even the best city in Florida either. My vote goes for St. Augustine. Oldest continuously inhabited city in the nation. Facts. I once killed a black widow spider in Florida. I went to Sarasota with my family. It was the first time I ever saw one. It was quite terrifying. We kind of rented an Airbnb type thing, and like the garage was all cluttered. And I was kind of, after I saw the spider, I was like, no way in hell am I going in there. I basically just wore shoes and high socks for the rest of the trip because that scared the bejeebus out of me. But yeah, my money's on Colorado. Go Avalanche.
Robbie, thank you for that insight into
Yeah,
this series.
I never thought about a whole state against a city like that.
When you put it that way, it really does seem unfair.
It does. It makes you wonder why Florida lost to Tampa to begin with. Or New York, which I guess is a city and a state. That's too much thinking for this time.
Oh, yeah.
This time
All
of
right.
this,
So
video cast.
tell me about advantages that Tampa you think is going to hold here. So they're going to get Braden Point back, but,
Yep.
Kadri, he hit the boards bad.
But I think
Got a thumb.
it
He
sounds
says he's going to be back. He's on Twitter telling everybody, like, you just wait.
so. From what
Hold me back.
I understand, Braden Point will be back at least by game 2. I was hearing rumblings of game 1. So if he's back, that's definitely advantage Tampa. You got strength down the middle. And that's very important, especially against a team like Colorado, to really drive their defense and actually try to push the play a little bit and keep the puck in the zone. Tampa's not that good of a faceoff team, even with Braden Point, so that advantage, no matter what's probably going to flip over to Colorado. Ultimately, Colorado's got a lot of skill, a lot of speed, and we saw already twice this year, Tampa has struggled with speed when they couldn't slow it down with Toronto and New York. Florida couldn't find a way to get into that groove. I know they have a lot of it, but they didn't have a lot of defense, and anybody with a semi-defensive structure in the background seemed to be giving them fits. So it's going to come down to whether or not Colorado is able to take advantage of their speed through the neutral zone with Tampa and their defense trying to slow them down. If you're going to go superstar for superstar and try to play run and gun both ways, you're going to put a lot on Vasilevsky, and Colorado can move the puck really well. And I just don't see that working out all that well for him. So I got to say advantage Colorado in a run and gun game. If you're going to slow it down and really try to trudge through the trenches, I think that's the only way Tampa can win this series. They're going to have to clog the neutral zone. They're going to have to take their chances. And unfortunately, I don't know that they have that team. I think Carolina was a little bit better about that, standing up at the blue line and actually being able to turn that against the Rangers, whereas Tampa didn't really do that as much, and they definitely could have turned the puck over. Well, they did turn the puck over at the blue line an awful lot, but Tampa didn't go on 2-on-1s all day. So I don't know that Tampa has that in them. We'll find out, though. But I'm picking Colorado. Going to go Colorado in 6, and that's where I'm going with that. What do you think? After all this information I've thrown at you for no reason at all, other than for this video cast.
Does Switzerland have a hockey team?
Swiss does have a hockey team.
Can they only play in the neutral zone? So we want you, before I make my decision here on who's going to win this series, we want you to stay tuned after this video because we're going to be previewing a new Willow Rock TV show. So hold tight. I'm going to make
such a bad dad hockey joke. That was so bad.
I think it was.
If anybody's still watching this right now, they turned off right then.
Absolutely not. All the viewers came in for that.
They came back for that joke?
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
So, they're our hometown team here. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I also think it's going to go probably 6 or 7.
You mean Tampa Q's?
Tampa Q's.
Hashtag Tampa Q's.
Go Crunch. All right, here's more info about our new show. Cheers.
Hi, and welcome to our new show, Fun Florida Facts, with me, your host, Robbie Cunningham.